You are healed. You are loved. You are whole. You are well. There is a song in your heart, and that song is singing of your true nature and all of your potential, ready to be brought forth into expression. There's a tribe in Africa where the birth date of a child is counted not from the day that they're born or from the day that they're conceived, but from the day that that child was a thought in its mother's mind. When a woman decides that she'll have a child, she goes off and she sits under a tree by herself and she listens until she can hear the song of the child that wants to be born. And when she learns this song, she returns to the man who would be the child's father and she teaches the song to him. And then when they join together to conceive the child, part of that time, they sing the child's song as a way to invite it. And while the woman is pregnant, she teaches this song to the older women and some of the villagers so that when she is giving birth, they're standing around singing the child's song as a way to welcome it to the planet. And then during the child's life, the other villagers are taught the song so that if the child falls or hurts its knee, one of the villagers will pick up the child and sing the child's song to it. And then when the child does something wonderful or goes through the rites of puberty, the child's song is sung as a way of honoring them. And this continues throughout their life. When two people get married, their songs are sung together. And then finally, when the soul has lived the course of its life's journey, is lying in bed, ready to die, all of the villagers know the song, and they're all standing around singing the song, that person's heart song to them for the very last time. There is a song in your heart when you were born, and that song is still singing its tune within you. When we sing the songs of our hearts, we are expressing our true nature, our I am, our Christ nature, our authentic self, our unique expression of God. When the villagers were singing the child's heart song, it served to remind the child of its true nature. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore said that it may be that God is singing the universe into expression at this moment. Isn't that a cool image? God is singing the universe into expression at this moment. And this song is singing in you. The song of your heart expresses through you when you share your own unique talents and abilities in a way that blesses others and that shines your light into the world. I heard the song of my heart when I heard my call to ministry. Since I was a child, singing has been a creative outlet for me. My family has tapes of me singing from when I was 3 or 4 years old. When I was a kid, I loved expressing myself through music. It was fun, and it was a way for me to feel bigger than the little girl that I was. Do you remember when you were little and all the kids sang? Do you remember a time where everybody sang? When I was in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher was a nun, and she was like Maria from The Sound of Music. She played acoustic guitar, and we would all sit around her on the floor, and we would all sing these spiritual, joyful songs. And everybody was a part of the music, and it felt so free. And later when I went to college, I had a dream in my heart to be a professional singer. And so I majored in vocal performance. And part of the program was doing these rigorous classical music vocal juries. Anybody done anything like that before? All the faculty sits behind the table and they critique your voice. And I did well, I did well. But what I heard, what stayed with me, were all the critiques that I heard, and they became a voice in my mind telling me that I wasn't enough. And it became a struggle for me to move past that fear and that judgment and to sing from my heart, because I was so concerned with the technique. How I was holding my jaw, how I was breathing, how I was placing the notes, that the joy and the freedom that I felt when I was sitting on the floor singing with my kindergarten teacher, that wasn't expressing anymore. What I didn't realize was that I was living from the outside in. Maybe you've tried so hard to please other people in your life that you lost track of who you were in the process. Have you ever lived that way? Where you were looking for outer approval to move forward on your dream? Have you ever pursued a job or a goal and allowed other people's criticism to kill your joy? After I graduated from college and I was struggling with audition after audition, I arrived at my own conclusion that my ability wasn't enough. And so I began imitating other singers. And it worked for me. But I discovered that for me, it got to be a strain to attempt to be someone else, something that I wasn't all of the time. And I felt that there was something missing. I was losing touch with the real me. When I was auditioning every day, I was trying to fit my voice and my look into a certain character type. One day, I would be the cute and perky girl next door. And then the next day, in one room, I was the slinky, sexy Follies girl. And then in the next room, I was the brassy, smart-talking street reporter. What identities have you put on in your life to please other people? In focusing on creating all of our different personas, we can tend to neglect our own unique and interesting and talented selves. In doing this, I began to lose faith that anyone would want to hire the real me. And through the stress of auditioning and the pressure that I put on myself to succeed, I developed a series of stress-related health conditions that were actually impacting my singing and making it a real struggle for me to sing. And doctors told me that I would be living with these conditions for the rest of my life. I knew I couldn't physically or emotionally continue to put myself through this anymore, and I refused to accept it as the truth of who I am. I think that this was my body telling me that the only way that my life was going to work was if I was able to live my heart's calling and to be authentically me. When I discovered unity, I had an epiphany. I learned a whole new perspective of my own creative power. Before unity, I thought that life was happening to me, that God was punishing me by making my life so challenging. My career felt like an uphill battle. But in unity, I learned that I have the power to live my dream. But I wasn't sure what my dream was anymore. One Sunday here, Paul talked about a book that brought healing for him. Healing Secrets of the Ages by Catherine Connor. I picked up this book, and this book helped me to understand how certain thoughts I was holding were creating the disease that I was experiencing in my body. And it was a long time of me working with prayer and these unity affirmations for me to let go of the deeply held old perceptions. But I discovered that Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore took 2 years to heal from her health condition, and that gave me hope. Myrtle Fillmore taught me that health is our birthright, and our bodies have the capacity to heal from anything. When I discovered here at Unity that my true nature is my Christ nature, I learned that it was time for some major rewrites of the story that I was telling myself. I understood that our lives are being created by our thoughts, and I began to see how my limited beliefs were denying my true nature and had taken me into this dark night of the soul experience. As I practiced unity principles, I became able to be in touch with my inner light and to allow this light to heal me. And I felt a great love and acceptance of myself that I had never felt before. I learned the art of living from within out, allowing Spirit to guide me. Unity minister Eric Butterworth said, "The most profound knowledge that you can attain, the most profound knowledge that you can attain is that your whole experience flows forth inexorably," which means unceasingly, from a universal process, which is always from within out. God isn't happening to us from the outside. We are experiencing and expressing God from our own inner awareness. As we practice living from within out, we gain a consciousness of truth, and our true nature shines in a greater way. Learning this was part of my soul's healing journey, and this is the aim of our spiritual path in unity, to know the knower within. And we do this through prayer, we do this through meditation, and we also do it through song. Here at Unity of New York, the opening song, as you know, is Use Me. And so I would arrive here every Sunday and join with all of you on your feet, swaying and clapping and really getting into the song with zeal and enthusiasm. And I think that coming here and letting go in this loving and supportive environment and singing every week from my heart the words, "God needs us, shine its light as me, as you," that inspired me to shine my own light into the world. But where and how? I just wasn't sure. But I kept praying, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And I was envisioning myself performing in a show that encourages and motivates people the way Unity does, but I wasn't seeing anything like that anywhere in theater. I also knew that I wanted to express my talents as myself and not have the pressure of being someone else, to please someone else. In September of 2008, I heard my answer from Spirit: join Voices in Unity. I knew this was going to be something extraordinary. Singing this positive music right here, week after week, was having a transformative effect on my life. The lyrics were running through my mind week after week. They were changing my thoughts, and rather than being consumed with thoughts about how I looked and sounded on the outside, I was able to focus on singing these songs as prayers. Whenever I sang with Britt and the choir, I was sharing my voice in ministry, and I found that my true voice was coming forth. And it was like a meditation at times. It brought my attention so fully focused into the present moment. And there were times where it felt transcendent, like I was hearing angels singing all around me. And now I was singing from the consciousness of within out. And I remember thinking that this was a wonderful way to serve, but it didn't answer my question: what was my dream? Well, they say that God works in mysterious ways. And through singing with the choir, I got the feeling of what it was like to be a part of a Unity Sunday service. Little did I know that when Paul gave the talk about his call of ministry in January of 2009, some of you might have been there, that I would hear the call myself. He'd been telling the choir that we're all ministers through singing in the choir, and I thought that I could be happy with that, being of service by singing in the choir. I never pictured myself living the life of a minister. But it was a new year, and it was around the time of Obama's inauguration. Remember that? Everyone was talking about hope and change. Am I inspired and willing to open myself to new possibilities? Am I really spiritual enough to do this? Reverend Jeanmarie Eck? how Paul was a professional actor, and he shared how all the different jobs that he had held had all prepared him for ministry in some way. And my life flashed before my eyes, and I saw my education, my bachelor's, my master's, and all the eclectic resume of jobs that I had held were all ways of gaining experience that I could use to serve in ministry and to serve others. And it was the first time in my life that I understood what divine order, mind, idea, expression looked like over the course of my entire life. I had my heart's calling to be a Unity minister, which began with a divine idea that was expressed in the performing arts and in all my different jobs as a way of preparing me for a fuller expression of my call. I saw that even the healing experience that had been so difficult for me could serve to help others in their healing. I just wasn't sure at first if this was mine to do, because the only place that this idea was coming from was from within me. No one was coming up to me and saying, "Hey, you'd make a good Unity minister, you should check that out." No. Yet I had a deep inner knowing that I would experience great joy in my life through using my talents in service, and I made the decision that from then on I would dedicate my voice to the work of unity. I discovered also something deeper about my career path, that I was called to be fully authentic, to fully express my Christ nature, and to trust my intuition rather than the opinions of others as my guide. And singing unity songs was what helped me open my mind to this awareness. When we sing positive songs, we raise our consciousness to a joyous state. We break through blocks of fear so that we can hear the song of our heart's calling. Charles Fillmore said that we should all practice delightful, happy, joyous states of mind. It is such thoughts that open the way for the ever-present God mind to pour out its splendid resources into our mind and through us into all of our affairs. When we are practicing joy and cheerfulness, we are free from resistance, and we are allowing our minds and hearts to open to divine mind, and we become open to a greater experience of oneness through the music. Singing as a group is reflective of our oneness with each other, because we all have these unique individual voices, and when they come together, they create one voice, one song, a true experience of unity. Through knowing oneness, we know our true nature. By singing joyful songs, we keep our minds in tune. The center of our divine faculty of power is in our throat. And when we use our words to express authority over our own thoughts and feelings, there is a much different effect from saying, "I'm healed, whole, and healthy. I am well," than singing, "I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well, I am well." So you're singing, and you feel the groove coming on, your body's moving, your voice is going all over the place. When we use the power center in our throat through song to send out these powerful vibrations of truth, every cell in our body vibrates in harmony. So a metaphysical doctor might say, sing a unity song all week and let it resonate in your being, and then go live your dream. Now some of you may think, all right, maybe you feel joy when you sing, but not me. I think that people feel joy when I stop singing. If any of you ever thought that you couldn't sing, One of the things that I learned getting my music degree is that a lot of people think that they're tone deaf, but very few people actually are. What's more likely is that they were told that they couldn't sing, and they believed it. Everyone has the potential to become a better singer. It's like muscle building. It takes practice, and listen, what better way to practice than right here at a Sunday service at Unity, where everybody has to love you anyway, right? Charles Fillmore said that the human body is the most wonderful music box in the world. There are reeds and bellows and pipes. The whole physical organism seems to have for its purpose the production of sweet sounds. We all have the physical potential to sing. There are some very famous singers who don't have very much technical ability, but they claim singing as their own because they understand that no matter what, music is not limited to a certain sound, a certain way of singing. They've claimed it because it was their dream. We all have our own unique dreams, and there is a song in all of our hearts that longs to be heard. So I invite you all to join with me in affirming with zeal and enthusiasm, I claim my dream now. Together?
I claim my dream now.
I fully express my true nature. Together?
I fully express my true nature.
I am free to sing the song of my heart.
I am free to sing the song of my heart.
You may not be the best yet at what your heart is calling on you to do or to be in your life. Do it anyway. Your unique expression could create a whole new way that this divine idea, this unlimited idea, expresses in our world. There is a song in your heart. What makes you sing? There's something that when you think of it, your heart leaps a little, you feel a smile forming on your face. All of a sudden, possibilities start exploding in your mind. Spirit within is singing the song of your heart and saying to you, claim it, go for it, and express your true nature, your Christ nature in all that you do. Namaste.